Okay, so before we begin sewing, we're going to need our thread. So I'm going to be using like a dark blue so that you can see it, and it shows up really nice on here. And then we need to get our needle. So this contraption is inside your sewing kit. If you look at the edge, there's like a little opening in the clear plastic. You want to just rotate that around. Sometimes it gets hung up on things. But you want to rotate that all the way to the top because in this middle section here are the needles with the biggest eyes. Okay, and it'll be a lot easier to get our thread through one of those eyes as opposed to one of these. So maybe you can see this. It might not focus. But like this one's going to be a lot easier to get the thread through. Okay, so we're going to use this one. I'm going to put this one back in. Give it a tap or two. Got a little snagged. And then before you set this down, you want to rotate it all the way around until that opening doesn't line up with these openings at the top. So nothing was just going to fall out. So I'm just going to keep this needle. And take a look at the length of your needles too. This is another one that was in that same opening. It's kind of up to you which length you want. This was in like the same little section inside of this needle kit. So it's up to you. If you're new to this, I would maybe suggest actually, this kind of shorter needle. So I'm just gonna stick that into my fabric right now, just so I know where it is and I don't lose it or it doesn't roll off my table. And then my thread, I'm going to pull, so this is the length that we're sewing, but that's not enough. We're actually going to be throwing with a double thickness to make our stitches really strong. And actually what I always do is double that because, so let's see here. So here, if you really want to measure and be precise, you would go up here, here, and you would want at least like 4 of these lengths, just to be safe. Especially when you're doing such a small distance like this, like there's no point, it's kind of just a pain to run out of thread. So then I'm just going to trim, kind of put this off to the side. And now what we're going to do, I might zoom out a little so you can see a little more. I have my thread, and here's my needle. Now, all you have to do is get this thread through this eye, and it's a pretty big eye. I sometimes lick the end of it, or if you have water nearby, you can just like get your fingers wet, and that will help. Some people really, really have a hard time with this. If you're one of the people who have a really hard time getting a needle, getting thread through the needle, we do have this little tool in our kit. And it's really kind of hard to see, but there's these little thin metal wires. And so you would stick that through, you have a little more control over that, stick that through the eye of the needle, and then thread that through. And then when you pull, you get it out. So there's 2 of these in your kit. Don't lose them. They are very helpful, and I think a lot of you might benefit from having them. So what I want to do now is pull my thread until my 2 ends line up. Okay. All right. And it should be like, this should be at the bottom. If I'm pinching the 2 ends like this, this should be at the end.